Now we're going to take a look at soldering directly onto the tracking of the PCB. And here's one I've basically done earlier, in that I've got a little bit of this wire which is quite good to recycle these old bits you find in old appliances, in that, you know, they're already essentially helping you color code what is quite a complicated bit of work. So I've basically managed to solder onto the tracking there and bridge over there, and what that'll allow me to do is have the optical sensor looking down on the surface for the mouse, and then I can reposition the jog wheel anywhere that I fancy. So I'm obviously going to spend some time doing this, and it'll take a while to do and a bit of patience, but I'd say some tips to sort of guide you along the way is, again, use the color coordinated wire, but also do things one part at a time. That way you don't lose track of where you are. The other tip is that when you're scraping off the lacquer, it's a good idea to essentially, rather than chisel towards it, where you might end up either slipping and cutting into yourself, or just cutting off the thin piece of copper on the PCB anyway. It's much better if you actually just scratch it as if you were sort of aggressively spreading butter on toast, and that's about the best analogy I can think of. So as you can see, it's slowly revealing itself there, and so with a bit of patience you can see that we reveal the tracking there. And so I've already primed the other side, so if I just clean up the ends of this, and again it helps having one of these little holders. So if I basically tin the end like this, then again it's better to heat the wire and solder onto it, and this just tins the ends and make them stick better. And so it's a good idea to do this beforehand. And in case anyone's wondering, the Solder Buddy is currently in America at the minute, which is why I'm not using it right now. Okay, so we've tinned that, and then if we tin the tracking as well. Now you might find using a flux pen might help it to stick. It just helps the solder flow a little better, but that seems to have gone on okay. So hopefully it's not too noisy with the extraction. Again, using extraction if you can at all, because obviously the fumes are quite nasty, and wearing goggles to protect your eyes. So again, you can either do this by hand, like so, or again, you might find it easier if you take these back into the little pliers you get, and we create a join like so. So as you can imagine, this is obviously going to help having these color-coded wires, and that I can see what I'm doing and I can work one step at a time. But what I'm now going to go away and do is essentially connect all these wires from the tracking up, and then I'll probably plug it into the computer and check that everything's still working. And then the final step will be to basically take off these micro switches and do exactly the same thing, put them on tethered leads.